Like the generations today. You read about that in the Willie Lynch later. To a certain extent.
And that's why and then like even like that's why I say understanding like the thing with the Gentiles, like that's why the Lord said how y'all become strange or degenerate plant. Like because of these things, that's how the nation of Israel has become strange looking to the Most High. That degenerate plant that he talks about in the scripture, because Jake is no longer because like the brother reading, Jake entered into a whole new covenant with the heathen. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sticking to the covenant that the Yahweh Shema Shai made with us. Yeah. That's why you see Jake in the condition that they're in, because we broke the covenant with Yahweh Shema Shai, went into a covenant with a bunch of fucking heathen. And because that's what the scripture say. It said, learn not the ways of the heathen.
Right.
Who wasn't supposed to learn the ways of the heathen? Yep. You know what I'm saying? That's what fucked us over as a nation. You got us, Zaquan.
Yeah, and just bringing it back full circle to the precept that we opened up with, Jeremiah 17:4. That was a part of us falling away.
Yep.
You know, which I'm quoting a different scripture. You know, that was a part of us discontinuing from our heritage. But we did have to fall away first. All right? And I had a precept just backing up the one that you just grabbed, Shema. This is Ecclesiasticus 15:18. It says, "For the wisdom of the Lord is great, and he is mighty in power, and beholdeth all things. And his eyes are upon them that fear him, and he knoweth every work of man." See, and that was going to that conversation we was having about the Lord being omnipresent. All right. It says, verse 20. This is the point, though. "He hath commanded no man to do wickedly, neither hath he given any man license to sin." So just because man at that time gave him license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, the Lord, on the contrary, said that he hath given no man license to sin. You know, during the Greekish, the Greek Empire, you had you know, like you brothers pushing gymnasium or which goes into being naked, you know, exercising and so on and so forth. That's really when our people started adopting the full customs of the heathen, you know, in regards of the alphabet community. You know what I'm saying? And doing things that's contrary to the ways of the Lord.
Yep.
You know, and so here it is. The Lord said that he given no man license to sin or to do wickedly, man. And so who you supposed to follow? It says in the book of Acts, the 5th chapter, that we ought to obey the Most High and not man.
Yes.
Right. Want to back you up real quick. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Right, our people was all tripped up into astrology and all of the things. Literally every avenue of the idols of the heathen, our people go run into it, man.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
See, even all the way down to these pagan holidays that they're getting ready to celebrate. And it's the thing about it, like it's the wicked inventions of these devils, but Jake partaking on them more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Jake go all out for these damn costumes.
Yeah.
Jake go all the way for the meal. Jake go all out for all this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's showing you like that's how they learn the ways of the heathen. You know what I'm saying? And then when you even go into these things, you see where these things originate from. And you'll fuck around and show Jake where they originate from, but Jake ain't finna come up off of it.
No. So it's a tradition. So like it's a tradition of men.
Yep.
And just adding to your statement that you know, pretty much that was going back to the what you just said about learning not the way of the heathen. You know, this is why the Lord really jacked us up as a nation. You know, and put us in captivity, because he given them over to their reprobate mind. You know, he allowed them to do it. Here it is. You got your children saying, "I can do better," or "I can go about trying to establish my own form of righteousness." Well, the Lord just pretty much allowed these heathens to do whatever they wanted to do unto us, man. And even until this very day. Hold on real quick. Take your statement out.
Yeah, just real quick, based on what brother's saying. The scriptures let us know this. The scriptures make us privy to things like that, because the scriptures let us know, like, Jake is wise to do evil. Jake has declared their sins as Sodom. You know what I mean? And even in the book of Psalms, like, you know, we're mingled among the heathens and, you know, learn some of their ways. And that's why it's important to understand the concept of the Gentiles, too, because it's
that's spiritual thing with it.
And then there's Israelites who were adopting heathen customs. And the Lord deemed us the same as Gentiles. That's what the scriptures say, don't hand to hand join with the wicked, you know, altogether you should not go unpunished. Right?
I got a quick definition. It's the term Hellenist in the Sunderban Bible Dictionary. It says Jews who made Greek their tongue and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices. So just like the precept the brother brought out in Jeremiah 10:2 about learn not the way of the heathen, well, you had some of our people who who, like we just read, First Maccabees 1:10, and there came out of them. So like, I'm gonna start down verse 11, First Maccabees 1:11, and in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many. So you had men of our own nation, okay, who went about trying to persuade many, all right, to leave off from following the customs of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And like it says, saying, let us go and make a covenant, an agreement, a confederate with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And so trying to re-enjoin themselves back to, all right, these Edomites, all right, picking up, again, adopting their Greekish ideas and practices, all right, and fashions, and their tongue as well. You see what I'm saying? To the point to where they no longer wanted to serve at the altar. They despised the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, loving the honor of the Grecians best of all. That's all found in the Apocrypha, man. You know? Who was reading? Select. Go ahead.
God, you want me to go back to First Maccabees? All right, First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse this book of First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 14. It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. And it's just one of the many things that Jake was doing. Because Jake was also having orgies, you know, and so on and so forth. And they was allowed to do these things. Why? Because the heathen, namely the Edomites, was ruling at that time, and they was giving Jake permission to do these things.
And it's the same thing today. You know, it's the same thing today. You know, a couple years back, they was trying to have the world's largest orgy in Vegas, and they failed, you know, because they couldn't get enough participants, but it was still a couple thousand that still showed up, man. You know, and, you know, it's the same people ruling today. These Edomites back again today ruling and ultimately trying to persuade our people to leave from off of following righteousness, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
So you about to say something, Paul?
No, I'll just say, brother, keep reading.
And then another thing too, you know, if I may add, because just like the elder Zguan just went into the word Hellenist, like when you realize like this is how they're being Hellenized. They not only are they given license to sin, but they're being persecuted for righteousness too. You know what I'm saying? Because in the same chapter, they're not able to circumcise the babies. They start hanging the women and the babies for if they tried to keep the customs. It was certain shit that Jake couldn't practice righteousness. You either gonna get down with wickedness, you know what I'm saying, or you gonna get put to death for the righteousness that you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to add that. You know what I'm saying? You got it.
And then you always had, for that term brothers like to use, you know, secret disciples. You know, you always had Israel still, or you had Israelites back then who would still, you know, give homage, all right, to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but have to do it under secrecy. It's like similar now. We can't, like it says in the Maccabees that neither could they at all profess themselves to be a Jew, you know, because like you said, they'd get put to death. Well, it's similar today, man. You know, they starting to come against the Bible, all right. I remember when the nigga Kanye came out talking about we the Israelites and how they tried to shut him up and whatnot. But the point is, you had Israelites who would still secretly, all right, keep the high holy days such as the Sabbath and or worship Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
You see how you say that? Because we were talking about it earlier off camera, the circumcision. Said they made themselves uncircumcised by what? Practicing wickedness, doing the things that the heathen were doing. That's how they made themselves uncircumcised. So it's showing you it wasn't a physical thing, it was spiritual. Because they're no longer practicing the spiritual things and practicing after the ways or following after the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's the moment that they started to practice and indulge in wickedness that made them uncircumcised.
Right, because if you circumcised already, you can't uncircumcise yourself again.
Yeah, what you grew skin back?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You want me to keep going on this?
So it can't be talking about physically.
Word.
And I got a precept to
Verse,
back you up what you just said.
Kind
This is Colossians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, in whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands.
Come on now.
And putting off the body of the sins of the flesh of the circumcision of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Done.
So the same thing Israel was doing to make themselves uncircumcised, when you put those things off, that's what makes you circumcised. You know, in the mind, not in the sense of physically cutting off the foreskin of the rod, man. We're just talking about as far as cutting off the things that are not beneficial to the spirit.
Yes.
Okay, mentally and physically and morally.
Fine, right?
If I could add, like, you go back into the history, you know, when Abraham was circumcised, like, he was circumcised as an adult, but like the significance of that, it was like what came with it. You know, when we talk about circumcision, like the covenant and the promises attached to that, and that's a very heavy thing. So that's why, like, you know, it started off as